Before the Vixen, there was a student with a buzzer and a dream. There's something almost poetic about the way television reveals people slowly. You think you know someone, you've seen them 100 times, watched them dismantle contestants with that cool, unreadable gaze, and then a single conversation pulls back the curtain, and suddenly the person makes an entirely different kind of sense. That's what it felt like watching Jenny Ryan open up about the years before most of Britain even knew her name. Because here's what many viewers forget, or perhaps never knew in the first place: the chase didn't discover Jenny Ryan. Television did, long before the leather jacket, long before the nickname, long before millions of people were shouting at their screens hoping someone, anyone, could finally beat the Vixen. Jenny was already deep inside the world of competitive quizzing, earning her place the hard way, in formats that don't forgive nerves or gaps in knowledge. University Challenge has a particular kind of atmosphere that's difficult to describe unless you've sat with it. There's a tension in that studio that feels almost academic in the truest sense, reverent, slightly austere, the kind of silence that makes your own heartbeat feel loud. For a young Jenny Ryan to compete in that arena says something significant about where her mind was, and more importantly, where her confidence was willing to go. It's one thing to be clever. It's another entirely to walk into a format like that and back yourself publicly. And viewers who caught her discussing this seemed genuinely moved by the image of it. This woman who would later become one of television's most formidable quiz personalities, sitting in that chair, pressing that buzzer, building something that the cameras at the time had no idea they were witnessing. Then there's Mastermind. If University Challenge carries a kind of team electricity, Mastermind is entirely different. It's solitary. It's exposed. You choose your specialist subject, you sit in that chair, and for several minutes, there is nowhere to hide. Many viewers, reflecting on Jenny's journey, found something almost moving in that detail. Because Mastermind requires a specific kind of self-knowledge alongside intelligence. You have to understand what you know deeply enough to stake your reputation on it publicly. For someone who would later become the kind of quizzer who makes it look effortless, you can see the architecture being built in those early appearances. The composure, the stillness, the refusal to panic. Only Connect, though, that's where the conversation seems to shift slightly for people who pay close attention to these things. Only Connect occupies a different intellectual space entirely. It's almost philosophical in its construction. The connections aren't obvious. They require lateral thinking, pattern recognition, a willingness to sit with uncertainty and still commit to an answer. Some audiences watching Jenny's career retrospective began wondering whether that particular show shaped something specific in how she approaches competition, that ability to hold multiple possibilities in mind simultaneously without rushing, without flinching, before arriving at the answer with quiet certainty. It almost seemed, in moments of reflection, as though each of those shows contributed something different to the person who would eventually sit across from strangers every weekday and systematically dismantle their dreams of winning a life-changing sum of money.